Good morning, this is Angela with Parkrose Permaculture. Well, the rainy weather is back and I'm going to do my best to make a video this morning. As a dyed-in-the-wool Oregonian, I don't even own an umbrella. So I'm going to do my best to keep my phone dry as I film here. Doesn't matter if I get wet. Actually, I love gardening in the rain and I love running in the rain. But it's not the best weather for filming. So we're gonna have quite a bit of wet weather coming up, but I'm gonna do my best to make a video every single day. We're looking at my aronia berry here. I wanted to talk today about a plant that is just coming into bloom. It's in the rose family. By the way, you can see one of my roses here is about to bloom. My Jude the Obscure rose is blooming. My Cecile Brunner rose is just about over the peak. I love roses, but so many edible things we enjoy in the garden are in the rose family. Let's go this way. We're gonna cut through here. This is my pergola, and you can see my Falconblau rose, also about to bloom, just starting to open up. This is a purple, once blooming, mostly thornless, tolerates quite a bit of shade rose. Huge rambler. Okay, so this is my first raspberry patch in the garden. These are Amity raspberries. Raspberries are in the genus Rubus. Some of these are already pollinated, as you can see, and producing baby raspberries. They flower a little bit earlier than the other ones. These are once fruiting raspberry. They are what's called a June-bearing raspberry. And grow them all along the edge here because it makes them easier to control, because raspberries do walk. It makes them easier to control if you grow them along a pathway. And then I just use twine to hold them up. They get very floppy and heavy. And I prefer to use like jute or sisal twine, and then I can just compost it when I'm done. Some people use a system of wires. I do enjoy the fact that they get really droopy and kind of almost fall into the path. It invites you to pick them. I also have, as we move along here, I've done a little bit about them before in a video. I have Rubus occidentalis, which is the native blackcap raspberry, and I can talk more about them. They are my very, very favorite fruit, and they're native here. So I have those growing in a few places in the garden, and they're quite thorny, and I have them kind of up against fences and corners where kids won't fall into them. And they have a little bit different growth habit, so we'll talk about them another time. I'll go past the woodshed here. I'm trying to walk slow. I got some advice that I should consider a camera stabilizer, so saving for that. We're walking past my blackcurrant. I like to keep blackcurrants all around the garden. They're very hardy and pretty, and they smell amazing. I will do a video on them later. Okay, the rain has knocked down some things over here, like my clematis. So here is, going past my Cecile Brunner, here's my other main raspberry patch. These are fall gold raspberries, and this is a lot of golden raspberries to have. I'm going to move past here because the roses are just dumping water on me. And I'm going to come and stand underneath my filbert and get a little protection from the rain. So this is my raspberry patch, my big raspberry patch. In permaculture, I see people often not afraid, but they can get entrenched in modes of thinking of elements they see that get emphasized in permaculture design. And one of those is that people in permaculture don't like straight rows, and they can feel inhibited in their ability to plant things in straight rows, as if because in permaculture we're trying to mimic Mother Nature for maximum efficiency and productivity, and nature rarely works in straight rows, therefore we can't utilize straight rows. And I want to encourage you to not be entrenched in modes of thinking. Permaculture is design specific for each individual site. It is meant to fill the needs of each individual garden and home and community, and there is flexibility within that. You can plant things in straight rows and still be a permaculturist. Not everything has to be windy organic keyhole beds. And one of the things I have found that works well in straight rows is raspberries. It just makes them easier to control, easier to pick, and easier to string them up. So I have these posts. I have a bunch of like everything we use if we possibly can is free scrounged, salvaged stuff. So somebody had these old posts that had been their raspberry posts ages and ages ago, and they were getting rid of them. And so 7 or 8 years ago, we took them because they were throwing them away. So fall gold raspberries, I grow them in 2 rows, and you can see here we are facing dead north right now, and my chicken coop is right here. And the reason that I grow them in rows facing north-south is this way no row of raspberries blocks the one behind it from the sun, right? So the sun comes in this way all along. If I had done rows this way, the back row would be shaded. So this way the raspberries get a nice full aspect of sun because raspberries need full sun. You can see here these are at the tail end of their bloom as well. And the bees have been all over these guys. So when we talk about good permaculture design, you notice that at the end of these 2 rows of raspberries is my chicken coop. I try and put raspberries because they're very fragile and ephemeral fruits. I try and plant them along paths, as you saw with my amides, where you are going to be walking past them all the time so that you can pick them by the handful and enjoy them as snacks, and you can access them easily and readily. In permaculture design, we'll talk about zones at another time, but you think about designing things that need frequent attention close to the house or along heavily trafficked areas. So that's why the raspberries are here. They're on the path down to the chicken coop, which I go to twice a day at least. This way they get a lot of traffic. Also, you can see the heavy rain has knocked down some of them and I'll have to string them back up. This path makes it very easy for me to pull up suckers of the raspberries. I also like that it feels a little wild in the summer, like I'm kind of going back through a jungle to get to my chicken coop. I like a sense of wildness in the garden. So these raspberries are a different kind of raspberry than the amity. Not only are they a golden raspberry, not a red raspberry, they are a twice fruiting berry. So they're what's called an ever-bearing raspberry. The reason that they're called fall gold is because they have a crop in September and October. So they will have this June crop here. And then depending on how you prune them, they will fruit again in the fall. Like I said, September and October. And the fruit that is produced in the fall is often bigger than the June fruit. So most raspberries produce on fluorocanes, so they will shoot up a primocane this year, and you don't want to prune that off because next year that will flower, become a fluorocane, and set fruit. Fall gold are a little bit different in that they not only will, these are last year's primocanes, so just like my June bearing raspberries, these came up last year and now they are fruiting this year. The rain is making it not want to focus with my camera. But what you find is that this year's primocanes come up, they will flower and fruit in September and October, leave them, and they will fruit again in June the next year. So you get 2 crops a year out of them if you prune them correctly. Now you could decide to just mow them to the ground every fall and then you'll get 1 crop a year. Your choice. So I hope that gives you a little view of how I grow my fall gold raspberries. Again, they need full sun. I grow them running north-south so they don't, for optimal sun exposure. I grow them in an area that is highly trafficked by me and my kids so that we remember to pick them. I am not afraid to plant them in straight rows because that's what this area of the garden needs, and that's what these plants need, and that's what I need in order to be able to fully use them in the way that is most efficient for me. So, like I said, it's going to be raining all week, but I'm going to be out here making a video every single day. If you have things you'd like me to cover, please feel free and leave a question or comment. If you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. And I will be back tomorrow. Now I'm going to go in the house and warm up because I am freezing cold and have another cup of coffee. I'll see y'all tomorrow.